You kept pushing on, but then you went too far. When your ship has sailed and all your dreams are lost, everything is wrong, you feel like it's your fault. Just remember, I will be there for you, baby. Remember, there's nothing out there to get you, don't forget it. When life feels lemons, just call me. Just call me. Just call me. Just call me. You're stronger now than you ever been. You gotta leave now, it's time to catch the wind. You will climb up high and look through the clouds. And when you're feeling low, I know you'll bounce back. Oh, and just remember, I will be there for you, baby. Remember, there's nothing out there to get you, don't forget it. When life throws lemons, just call me. Just call me. Just call me. Just call me.
Welcome everybody to the Las Vegas Motor Speedway for the Outlaw Sim Series as we take on 140 laps here at the Las Vegas Motor Speedway. I'm Alan Bergen. Alongside of me tonight, filling in for the one and only Dave Regal, is Chris Murphy, and we are both south of St. Louis here in the Tony Trapasso Memorial Studio. And we are here to bring you the Outlaw Sim Series. Chris, how's it going?
I didn't know I was filling in for Dave. I don't know if there's a pretty big shoes to try to fill, but we're going to have a good time tonight. Well, glad to be here with Vegas. First time with Outlaw Sim Series. See what these guys are going to have to offer tonight. So interesting with the couple heat races before the feature. So really anxious to see how this is going to go here at Vegas tonight.
Yeah, here's how tonight's going to work out. So right now they're doing their qualifying. Then they're going to run 2 6-lap heat races. And then we're going to do a 140-lap feature. And I tell you what, Chris, this series has been one of the best one of the best series that I've actually had the pleasure of commentating on here on Sim Racing Media. These guys race hard, they race clean. But nonetheless, right now in qualifying, Ben Park is on the pole, for Heat 1 with a 30.92. Now, the second place qualifier, he'll start on the pole in Heat number 2. 6-lap heat races, 140-lap feature. There's a lot of racing going on tonight.
Yeah, nice little combination of like a Saturday night dirt track kind of local track feel. along with the super kind of mid. I guess isn't really a super speedway mile and a half here at Vegas. It kind of races like a super speedway in a lot of ways. You'll see some drafting, some side drafting here working really well. The progressive banking, you'll see, you get down on the bottom where you think it's the shortest way around, but it's a little flat down there, so you're going to see trucks around the top carrying the momentum up on that higher banking. It should be a really fun race tonight.
Now, since the last time these guys raced, it's been about 2 weeks. They've had an iRacing update. They had week 13. The series took off for week 13. These trucks are a lot different tonight than they were when we raced at Bristol.
Yeah, we've seen that in some other leagues as well. They transition in this last update. The setups are a little bit different. They've remapped a lot of the tracks. So if you ran on Vegas a few months ago, it's going to feel definitely different tonight in this event tonight. I always say tonight for some reason, but it looks like it's daylight out.
Taking a look at the weather here tonight in Las Vegas, I would imagine they're just south of the Strip, near Nellis Air Force Base, but we're under an 80-degree ambient temperature. Look, we're in the desert. Humidity doesn't matter, but it's 14% relative humidity with an 18-mile-an-hour wind. Now, the track temperature, it's 111 degrees. It is hot.
That's kind of hot. It's going to wear the tires out quick. It's going to make the cars a little loose, or the trucks a little loose. Should be interesting. How many we end up here for that? About 20, 22, I think.
We got 22 trucks signed into the pit area tonight with Forrest Hamilton. Well, Max Service is on the pole here for Heat 1 so far with a 30.88 as he matches Forrest Hamilton step for step. A few more cars left to qualifying. The qualifying really just sets the lineup for the heat races. That's all they're doing. The heat races sets your lineup for the feature. And they do run cautions in the heats. Most times when you run a heat race format on iRacing, there's no cautions because, well, that's the way it goes. But
and Max Service still on the pole. I'm guessing that's a stage name. I'm not assuming.
It might be. But nonetheless, the other thing too is shade, the dynamic weather, and that's really going to play. That's really going to play into the hands of these drivers also. Now, you mentioned to me earlier, Joshua Baye is leading the points. So if you want to take a minute, Chris, go over the points, that would be awesome.
Yeah, looking at the point standings so far, Joshua Ballet, is it Cajun? Is that what we decided earlier?
Yep.
So Joshua Ballet leading the points right now with 139 points. Got 2 wins on the season. And from what I can see of the stats, it looks like his average finish is first. So he's raced 2 races, won on both. So second in points right now, Joshua Reese at 126, 13 points back. Third, Brandon Combs. Back and forth is going to be Matthew Byers. Fifth, and I'm going to butcher this name, Aiden Garadiano. I'm horrible at pronouncing names. This is why I don't call international events. I try to stick with only stuff in the States. Sixth in points is going to be Daniel Park. In seventh, Ben Morrow at 111 points. Back to Daniel Park there in sixth. He also has a win on the season. We're going to go drop down to eighth with Kyle Lingerfelt. Ninth, Forrest Hamilton Jr. Rounding out the top 10 right now in the point standings is going to be Benjamin Park at 102 points. That's your top 10 currently in the Outlaw Sim Series truck series.
Yeah, absolutely. As we got about 4 minutes left in practice and just a few more trucks left to qualify here. This point battle is just heating up, and Adam Gardner, we want to thank him for allowing us here on Sim Racing Media to bring you all the action. And I tell you what, Chris, I'm so glad that we don't normally get to work together. We got to work together a couple times, but whenever we do, it is a lot of fun.
You gotta be careful what you wish for sometimes, right? So we have had a lot of fun, Alan. It's been, I've only been with SRM now for about a month. I've had a lot, just learning a lot as we go along, and really enjoy working with you when I get the opportunity.
Yeah, absolutely. And as we are just about wrapped up with qualifying, I got to tell you. So, what are Chris's keys tonight to running good here at Las Vegas?
Well, the biggest key is just with anything, to finish first you got to finish, right? So I think we're going to see as hot as the track is right now, is 107-degree track temperature. Trucks are going to be loose. They're going to be a little bit hard to handle. We saw a couple trucks spin out in practice. So I think first off is just staying out of trouble. You know, pitting at the right time, and just picking a friend to run with, because draft does come into play here, even though it is not really considered a super speedway. But if you can find a friend to race with, I think that's what's going to be an important key.
Yeah, absolutely. As we got about 3 minutes left of practice, I tell you what, let's go ahead and see where some of these guys are on the track. We'll go down trackside and watch Adam Gardner in that number, 56 Toyota Tundra here. And I tell you what, this is probably, if you want free airtime, this is how you get it on the air for free with Scooby-Doo.
Well, I was hoping. I've been having trouble getting my liveries to load, so I didn't want to comment on the livery until you said something. But yeah, that's a really good-looking paint job on that 56. Big Scooby-Doo fan. I was watching a random race last night, and it was Captain Crunch, so he's done a really nice job with this livery. I like Scooby and Shaggy there on the hood. I wonder if they got some Scooby snacks for us after the race.
Definitely. Right now, the pole sitter is Max Service. He's going to be on the pole for heat number 1. Adam Gardner going to time in at 16th fastest with a 30.98. So right now the time to beat is that 30.88. And I give to you, Chris, this track is a lot of fun. Like I said, these guys are a whole lot of fun to watch. And in a series like this where you got heat racing, how much does qualifying really matter in your opinion?
With 140 laps, I think, you want to be up somewhere close to the front. A lot of times, if you're up close to the front, you're going to have a better chance of, avoiding the incidents. But 140 laps into this with a couple of pit stops thrown in here and there, you could come from the back of this field up to the front. It's just going to take a little bit of luck and a little bit of patience.
As we get ready to get get heat racing here, we got about 15 seconds left in qualifying. Want to thank everybody for tuning in here on your phones, in your homes, wherever you may be. Make sure you guys hit that like and subscribe button, as we are on the road to 5,000 subscribers right now. Right now we're at 4,300. So make sure you get that like and subscribe button, and smash those bells. That way you're notified every time that Sim Racing Media is on the air, whether it be with, the Outlaw Sim Services. We have got our Heat 1 already lined up and ready to go. Here's how this one's going to line up. Heat number 1 is going to line up like this. It's going to be Max Service on the pole with Matthew Byers to his outside. Ben Park will be on the inside of row number 2, while Andrew St. Cure will be on his outside. Dan Park will be on the inside of row number 3, and he'll be flanked by Matthew Setzer, while Brandon Combs will start 7th. 8th will go to Anthony Hamilton. Morgan Sterling will start 9th, while Ben Morrow will start 10th. Starting 11th will be Joshua Ballier, and Doug Solms will start and shotgun on the field for heat number 1.
To our point there, Ballier putting himself at a little bit of disadvantage starting in the back of this heat race. He's got a long way to go to get to the front to get himself a front starting position for the feature. So we'll see if he can work his way up through the field.
Absolutely.
I was looking at qualifying. We had 22 trucks. Top 20 were all within less than 0.3 of a second. So lap times are tight. I think we're going to be tight racing all night long.
Yeah, 100% Max Service here in that number 81 truck. You can see them go around here. They're gonna these are almost like, in the dirt world, we call them dashes, Chris. I mean, I know you've ran some dirt modified stuff there in the Northwest. So I mean, this type of style of racing is really about getting up on the wheel real quick.
Yeah, it's just a nice little sprint race here. Just see who can respond quickly. Get to 12 trucks in this race, and you don't have a lot of time to make it up from the back. So. It's I do like this this little style of racing. This format, I guess, is the right word for it. Kind of cool to see this thrown in where they're gonna throw in this little heat race and how it's gonna line up the feature. So might give somebody a chance to. I always like this format myself, because I usually didn't qualify very well. As a lot of guys can drive by themselves, and you put them in a pack and they struggle. So the guys that can really drive are gonna show their way to the front here.
Well, the iRacing.com pace car bringing the field through turns 3 and 4. We should see them in sight just momentarily. Barney's got the green flag in hand. Here they come. I almost Steve Harveyed the field here. iRacing.com pace car pulls off on the pit road. Max Service Matthew Byers with the button, and we are green flag racing here in Las Vegas for heat number 1.
Yeah, it looked like Max Service got out there, kind of caught everybody sleeping. He's about 2 truck lengths in front of everybody right there, right on the start. Let's see if he can hold that lead as they head down into 1 and 2.
And they are 3 wide already coming off the curve. And down the back straightaway. I mean, look, we're loving touching right now.
Yeah, Ben Park with a good run on the bottom. Max got a little bit looser getting in the corner, and that's going to let Matthew... Oh, we got a little contact there on the 94, and we are crashing. The 94, the 12 involved there. I think I saw our point leader, Ballet, also involved. He's actually down on pit road right now.
Meanwhile, Dan Park drives away unscathed, along with Matthew Setzer and Morgan Sterling. Let's take a look and see what happened to Brandon.
Yeah, no caution thrown there.
We're going to have to get to the chopper. Oh, yeah. We caught the tail end. I don't want to take anything away from the race here. Here's how this went down. It looks like the AT truck was just a little bit loose, and then, man. Ouch.
Yeah, really surprised they didn't throw a caution on that, but that's going to let Dan Park get out in front here all by himself at the moment. He's about 2-second gap back to Setzer there in that second position.
3 laps to go, and just like you said, Dan Park is out to a 2-second lead over Matthew Setzer, who is under fire from Morgan Sterling. Morgan Sterling with that Busch Light Apple paint scheme there. I'm not a fan of, of the beer, but I do like the color.
I'm a Coors guy myself, so Rocky Mountains all the way. But our pole sitter, Max Service, fast time qualifying tonight, out of this race early. And he is going to be starting at the tail end of this feature.
Well, Dan Park here, there's the eyeball test. We'll call it 2.5 seconds ahead of Morgan Sterling, as he's going to come around and get the white flag for heat number 1.
One more lap to go. Dan Park looking good in that Chevy, leading the Toyota of Morgan Sterling by a little over 2 seconds. So once the field kind of got separated, it looks like they kept that same gap. Sterling was able to keep pace with him, but just not able to close up.
Yeah, it's really crazy. Dan Park was able to drive away. Dan Park will win heat number 1. Morgan Sterling will finish second, and Matthew Setzer will finish third. That's your top 3.
Andy Hamilton coming in 4th, Doug Solms in 5th. Our point leader, Joshua Ballet, back in 8th. He's able to make up a couple of spots, but he's still going to be starting way out in the back of this feature. And like we said earlier, Max Service, the pole sitter, fast timer qualifier tonight, is going to come home and last in this heat race. So, big shakeup here. Like we said, it's not always how you qualify; it's how you can race. And Park moved up, started back in 5th in this. And it means he qualified probably 9th, I'm guessing, if my math is correct. And makes his way to the front, so he's going to be starting up in the front row. I assume they don't do any inverts. I'm just guessing.
Heat 2 is lined up, ready to go. Let's go over the starting lineup for heat race number 2. It's going to be Forrest Hamilton on the pole of this one. Joshua Reese will start 2nd, while Josh Fox will start 3rd. 2 is outside, and 4th will be Jeremiah Stutson. On the inside of row number 3, it'll be Devin Smith, while Kevin Thompson will be starting 6th on his outside. On the inside of row number 4 will be Kyle Lingerfeld. And the owner and chief cook and bottle washer here at the Outlaw Sim Series, Adam Gardner, will start 8th. Adam Giordano will start 9th, while Ben Henry will start 10th. 11th will go to Josh Johnson Byer, while Merlin Duran will start in that 12th position. That's your Heat 2 lineup here as we get ready to go for 6 laps here. These trucks are on pit road, awaiting to take off. There we go. We're getting ready to take off right now. So right now, yeah, I just lost my train of thought.
I was wondering if your brain froze there for a second.
It did. It's the ADHD.
Well, we'll see. We'll see if Forrest Hamilton can have a little better luck than Max Service did in the first heat race. Forrest qualified second overall out of the 22 trucks here, actually 24 trucks here tonight. See if he can keep this up in front and out of trouble and get himself starting up on the front row for that feature event.
Yeah, I mean, Forrest Hamilton front row, he's hard to beat here in this league. Is that iRacing.com pace car bringing the field down pit road or down backstretch at 70 miles an hour?
We got our first voice up in chat. Ben Henry for the win. He's going to have to come from 11th. Hey, thanks for the shout out there, Dylan.
Well, hopefully this is the only time that Barney's got to work hard tonight. The iRacing.com pace car pulls off on the pit road towards Hamilton. Joshua Reese on the front row. This one through the Geico restart zone. And we are green flag racing here in heat number 2.
That's about the evenest start I have seen in my 4 weeks of covering any of these truck races. Forrest Hamilton with a good start, but Joshua Reese stayed right there with him. We've seen that pole sitter usually get a pretty good jump. Right now, that inside line looks to be the dominant force right there, as Hamilton's going to pull Josh Fox in that number 2 truck right along with him. That's going to leave Reese stuck up on the outside with the 88 of Jeremiah Stutzman, trying to give him a little bit of push, see if they can get back up to the front, but that inside line is definitely pulling away.
And we are 2 by 2 doing it John Ford style here. Well, Forrest Hamilton, he's got, he's in the 99 truck there. Another Busch Light happening. And we're almost 3 wide.
That's a good looking livery on that truck, but I'm trying to figure out, if you're going to drink beer, why would you flavor it with apple?
That's just what we do here in the Midwest.
I can see maybe flavoring it with some whiskey. Apple just doesn't seem to, just doesn't do it for me. But it is a good looking truck, and Hamilton's now getting away. He's about 2 or 3 truck late advantage over that second place truck of Josh Fox.
Dan Park, the winner of Heat 1, he was out to a 2-second lead. And here you got Forrest Hamilton as Joshua Reese says, you know what? I think I'll set the best lap of the race with the 31 flat. But this heat seems like they maybe watched Heat 1 and they said, not so fast, buddy.
We're still getting some hard racing there side by side back here for 5th and 6th, 3rd, 4th, 5th, and 6th, all side by side. With Thompson, Fox, Gordiana, I'm just going to call him Aiden, sorry. And Devin Smith, all fighting back here this mid-pack right now. This Hamilton starting to stretch his lead out almost a second now. 0.7 of a second over Joshua. As I say that, Reese closes back up on the back of that truck. Back up underneath the spoiler to see if he can make a run here with about 3 to go.
And Forrest Hamilton just blinked out in the air. Now, that could wreak havoc here on Joshua Reese. Forrest Hamilton will need to communicate with Joshua Reese and let him know where he's at on the racetrack. Because, blinking can cause havoc. As we come to get
and Reese to the outside there, looking to make a move on the outside, coming off a 4, coming for the white. Let's see if he can get some momentum down this front straightaway down into turn number 1. He's got a good run off the corner through this little tri-oval section. Hamilton down onto that flat section, but Reese is going to be able to pull up alongside, and we've got a new leader.
Joshua Reese and Forrest Hamilton battling down the back straightaway. Who's going to take the win here in heat number 2? It's going to come down to the last corner as Joshua Reese tries to pull the power move.
They come off a turn number 4. It's going to be Reese taking the win with Hamilton second. Thompson going to come home in third. Stutzman fourth. Joshua Fox rounding out the top 5. Good run there from Reese. Learned a little bit there in that heat race. Found that outside line. Something you can use later on when we get to the feature.
Wow. Well, here we go. We are getting ready to go 140 laps here. As this race is just, I mean, 2 great heat races. And now we're getting ready to get this feature gridded up. Here's how they're going to line up for our 140 lap A main here. With Dan Park, the winner of heat number 1, he'll start on the pole. Joshua Reese winning heat number 2, he'll start on the outside of row number 1. Morgan Sterling will start on the inside of row number 2 rather. While Forrest Samuelson Jr., he'll start 4th. Starting on the inside of row number 3 will be Matthew Setzer, and Kevin Thomas will flank him on the outside, starting 6th. Anthony Hamilton will start on the inside of row number 4, while Jeremiah Stutzman will be on his outside. Doug Solms will start on the inside of row number 5, while Joshua Fox will start on his outside in 10th. 11th will go to Andrew St. Cyr, while Devin Smith will start in 12th. A little bit deeper here in the field, Ben Morrow will start 13th, while Adam Giordano will start 14th. Joshua Ballier, your point leader, he'll start 15th, while Kyle Ingerfeld will start 16th. 17th to go to Matthew Byers. Adam Gardner will start 18th. Ben Park will start 19th. Jonathan Byer will start 20th. 21st to go to Brandon Combs, and Ben Henry will start 22nd. Max Service, your fast time tonight, will start 23rd, while Matthew Duran will start, or Merlin Duran will start 4th. And ladies and gentlemen, we are going to do something pretty cool here. This up here. We are going to go on board with Adam Gardner. Now, during the 2 weeks off, Adam Gardner here, he lost his father, and we asked that everybody joins us for a moment of silence as Adam leads the field with his father riding on board in tonight's pace laps before the race. I mean, our hearts go out to Adam and his family as we are riding on board with Adam and the Scooby-Doo band. So we're gonna go silent. This one's for Adam. As the iRacing.com pace car in the field goes by Adam here, and the number 56 truck here, Adam Gardner, it's so hard to lose a relative, but to lose your father unexpectedly is tough. But nonetheless, we got 140 laps of business to settle.
Yeah, it's I know where Adam's at with this. He's he's gonna get in the truck here and race. So, I had a similar thing last year. Lost my father, and actually got into a car for the first time in 11 years, and the whole time you're in there, you're thinking about that. So wish him some luck here tonight.
Well,
140 laps. We'll see what goes on.
As the iRacing.com pace car brings the field down to the 3-4 complex, Barney's got the green flag in hand, and there's only one thing left to do, and that's to light the visor, pull the 5-part harness. Grandma, grab some popcorn and settle in, because race fans, Adam Gardner, it is showtime in Vegas.
Dan Park on the pole, Joshua Reeser on the outside. Dan, just like we saw in the heat race, Reeser doing a really good job on that outside. We got crashing back there behind it. It's Gardner. It's Gardner around.
Oh, no, not the way he wanted to start this one. As we are going to get to the chopper. Q-Truck never took off.
Now a little incident there in front of him, and I'm not sure what happened with Adam there. He just kind of, it looked like maybe he either got on the throttle too hard or on the brakes too hard, and the truck kind of turned. It looked like maybe he saw that accident happening there in front of him, tried to do what he could to avoid it.
Let's go back here. We're going to focus up on the 2-truck. Here's the start of the race.
Actually, it started up a little further up there. It started all the way up there with like the 88 truck. It just kind of, it was an accordion all the way back, and the 2 just kind of paid for the mistake.
Let's back this up to the 88 truck, as we got several different versions of what might have happened. Ooh, I just think the 99 truck didn't go.
Yeah, it might even be as far up as the 99. I was just going to say the same thing. All the way up in that outside second row. Okay, maybe he spun the tires. He did.
Oh, yeah.
Did not get a good start, and it just kind of piled everybody up behind him. And the number 2 of Josh Fox kind of paid for it. Going around. Also Adam Gardner. Just a little mistake there up there in the front. It either looked like he just didn't take off, missed a gear, spun the tire or something there, but definitely piled everybody up behind him.
Well, in our world, in the dirt world, they would call this a complete restart.
Yeah, here we're gonna go around for a few more laps. Are yellow laps? I don't see the laps going down. Are yellow laps counting? I know some leagues they do, some they don't.
I don't think they do in this one.
All right.
But nonetheless.
So we're gonna get some 3 or 4 trucks gonna take the advantage, get into the pits, put some tires on, get some fuel. So Joshua Fox, Matthew Byers, and Adam Gardner back there in the back now. So Gardner now with a long way to go. Started up in 18th, now down to 24th.
Yeah, he is getting that truck fixed up as the lights are still on the iRacing.com pace truck. I mean, you just feel so bad for him. Not the way you want to start a race. It looks like
Definitely no.
Adam Gardner's coming back onto the racetrack. As the 94 Matthew Byers and Josh Fox.
Now you're getting ready to run a race like this. These guys have been sitting around all day long, probably at work or wherever they were at today, and they're just getting ready for this race tonight. So, definitely not the way you want to start.
140 laps here, we just ran 2 heat races. As a driver in the real world, how do you prepare yourself throughout the day knowing that you're going to go racing here tonight? How do you prepare yourself as a driver?
You're just thinking about your marks, thinking about, have you done everything right? You know, I know we're probably running fixed setups here, but you're thinking if you got the setup right, if you got, you know, you got the crew ready to go, you got your mindset in the right place, you're calm, you know, you're not trying to not get too excited throughout the day. It's a long day just getting ready to get out here. And you just want to come out and just have your mind clear and ready to go, and just, you know, nothing on your mind but just what you got to do here.
As Barney gets ready to trade the yellow rag in for the green rag, our favorite color, green. iRacing.com pace car going to peel off on the turn, or onto the pit road once again, giving the field to Dan Park and Joshua Reese. Through the Geico Restart Zone, we are back to green flag racing.
Park with a little better jump that time, but Reese is going to. Park got a little bit looser, spun the tires just a little bit on the start, but he's got a little bit of a gap. He's able to get a truck length in front of Reese right there. Reese going to tuck in a second, so our top three now all settled in. Down here on the bottom, single file. And our pole sitter earlier, Forrest Hamilton, now back to fourth.
Well, just as you say that, the field's going to be closing in just shortly here on Merlin Duran, as he's coming to the tri-oval. And then there's the pack.
We're going to come up on lap traffic early. Duran had to come in and do some repairs after that first lap incident. And he's going to straggle here behind. You can see the trucks up front have now caught him here. Going to put him a lap down here early. And it's Park still out in front. Reese and Hamilton in the top three right now.
We look a little bit deeper in the field. Morgan Sterling on the inside of Anthony Hamilton. He was outside in that number 4 truck. And this is a battle for third position as Dan Park has set a blazing lap of 30.83.
He's looking pretty dominant right now. We got a long way to go, 133 laps left, but right now Park looks to be in control. Reese not able really to reel him in. He's just hitting consistent laps. That 4 truck, Anthony Hamilton's now settled in. Up 4 spots, started back in 7th, all the way up to 3rd. But he's got Morgan Sterling all over the back of that tailgate of that Toyota.
Checking back here with the Scooby-Doo truck. That's Adam Gardner, who's currently running 18th right now. He's just about where he started at. And he's one of those drivers that he's patient and he'll get to the front soon enough.
Yeah, made a good move. Started, but like you said, started back here in 18th, fell back to about 24th after spinning on the first lap, back to 18th. So we'll see if he can find his way through the pack. He looks to be pretty composed here, just running consistent lines down around the bottom. And we'll see how much further he can get up through this field. Our big mover right now is Ben Henry up in the 12th spot, started back in 22nd. That number 9 truck, he is moving up through the field right now, and he's working on the back of the 38 of Kevin Thompson to try to move up into the top 10.
Well, as the top 10 is essentially single filed out, here we got a battle, like you said, right around that club. Kevin Thompson, Andrew St. Cure. I'm not a Frenchman. I didn't take French. Sorry.
Is it Kior?
I have no idea.
I can't. I can't even do a French accent, so we'll just call him Andrew. He can send in a letter, correct us on it.
Look, here's the one that I've learned over about a year and a half. If you're wrong, YouTube will definitely correct you.
Oh, definitely. I'm actually looking up in chat right now for somebody to tell me how much we're butchering it, but he's doing a good job running back in that 10th spot. Started in 11th, now up 1 spot. Also looking up at our point leader, Joshua Ballier. Started back there in 15th, now up to 8th. He didn't have a good run in qualifying. And definitely didn't have a good run in the heat race, finishing last in his heat, but he's working his way up through the field here.
We're 11 laps in the history book here. And Joshua Ballier getting ready to go to work on Aiden Giordano there in that number 21 truck. Maybe even thinking about getting that 2-for-1 special here. Just Joshua's fast and, well, you know. He's gonna start making moves.
He's looking really good. He's moved his way up there. He's got really nowhere to go right now. He's kind of stuck behind Giordano and Setzer right now, just hoping one of them can make a move so he can keep his push towards the front. He's got him side by side all over in front of him. That 23 truck of Morgan Sterling also looking for a hole. And is he trying to get around both the the Hamilton brothers? Maybe not. I'm assuming too much, I guess.
Maybe, I don't know. They might be related.
We should research these things, I think, before we start sometimes.
I just appreciate being in the AC right now.
I'm with you on that one. But the 23 truck of Morgan Sterling now up to 5th. He's moving, looking underneath Anthony Hamilton to move up to 4th right now. He's got a good run down the bottom. But Hamilton's going to shut the door on him.
Right
Valley
now,
is still stuck back there.
I was gonna say he's still stuck back here between a rock and a hard place. I don't think anybody's gonna venture out near the wall just yet. There he goes. He's going to the inside. He's gonna make
Nice
the pass. He's gonna make that pass on, Matthew.
A nice move from Valley. He swooped all the way from the outside back down to the inside. He's going to drive his way past that 5 truck of Setzer here. He's way down on the flat part, but Setzer's getting a good run as they come through that tri-oval section. He's up on the bank, and he gets a good run off of that end of turn number 1. But Valley now going to get a 2 for up underneath Sterling and Setzer. He's going to move himself up into the top 6 right now. We're 3 wide down the back straightaway between the 7 to 5 and the 23. Sterling way up on the outside, and like you said, nobody really wanted to get up against the wall, but he was kind of forced to, and it didn't look like it worked very well for him. So he's going to fall back behind that 5 truck of Matthew Setzer right now. Good racing going on early.
This one's sorting itself out. And Chris, you driven in before, and so once you put your driving hat on here, put yourself in the truck here, even as a real world driver, how frustrating is it whenever you get stuck behind a Gaggle car?
It's pretty hard to keep your patience at that point. You got a fast truck underneath of you, got a fast car underneath of you, and you're just looking for some space. You're just hoping somebody can get out of the way so you can get to the front. But it looked like Joshua kept his poise right there, kept his patient, just kind of waited for his opportunity, and he's going to keep working his way up through here. He's now up to 6 in front of Setzer, but yeah, it's a tough thing to do, Alan, for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. As we're going to check in on Dan Park and Joshua Reese, as they're starting to pull away. Two of these guys have about a second over Forrest Hamilton there in the 99 truck. These guys kind of battling it out, kind of using the draft, pulling away from each other. And we check in on this battle here for a little while. We've been so caught up with the battle in mid-pack. We almost forgot these two were actually racing it out for the lead.
Well, that's what happens when you start driving away from the field. You kind of lose camera time, and we're looking for some action somewhere in the middle of the field. But you're right, Park and Reese. Reese has done a really nice job just kind of tagging along. It's almost like he's got a chain hook to the back bumper of Park's truck. They're just nose to tail here, just leaving the field right now. They've got about a little over a second back to Forrest Hamilton. I guess I better announce their first names too, since we got Forrest and Anthony back to back here. But they're just trying to get out here in front of. If we can get to keep a long green flag runs like this, if you can get out in front, it's just you and one other guy, just sort it out between yourselves and not have to worry about the rest of the field. That's really what you want to do.
Well, here comes Joshua Reese. Joshua Reese has had enough of following Dan Parker on the racetrack as he looked to the inside while we was on board with him. Looking a little bit further back in the field, things I would want to say settled down ever so slightly.
I believe that may be your imagination, as that 5 truck of sets are looking to make his way up a little bit further. Number 12 of, I guess we're just going to say number 12 of Andrew. I'm going to try, let's see, St. Courier. I'm going to do some AI here and tell me how to pronounce that properly here.
drivers almost touching the wall there. Kevin Thompson, that number 30 car, looking underneath the 12 truck there. The Pennzoil ride, and Matthew Setzer not satisfied with being in 8th position as he's trying to close in on Ben Barr. You know, aside of the opening caution flag, this thing's been green flag racing all night long. Meanwhile, back at the ranch, you got Dan Park and Joshua Reese going out of here for the lead. And it is starting to get, you know, things are starting to get thick here in front.
Yeah, it's starting to get a little spicy. Reese is looking for, I think Reese is feeling like he's a little bit quicker right now. He's looking for a gap. And maybe Park's actually maybe holding him up a little bit, because you look back to Forrest Hamilton now has gained about 1/10 of a second here over the last couple of laps, and he's starting to close in on these two.
I mean, if you're Joshua Reese, I feel like you could at least use Joshua Reese to maybe save some fuel and until you get to that first pit stop.
Are we going to try to talk about fuel mileage again?
I mean, look, every time I do, I'm completely wrong. They zig, I zag.
I'm guessing maybe 45 laps. It's just a 40 to 45 laps is just a wild guess here. If anybody in chat knows better than I do, which is totally possible, 100% possible actually. Probably actually realistic. So chime in there for us, help us out. But these two trucks out front just doing a good job. But as we're babbling here, as I'm babbling and you're listening, Forrest Hamilton is making up some more ground. He's back under a second, and he is closing in on these top two once again.
Going on board with Forrest Hamilton and that beer truck, and he's driving around the Breckenridge, Texas. The top two, Dan Park and Joshua Reese, getting bigger in his mirror, while the back end of that truck sees Joshua Valier getting smaller.
Yeah, we kind of missed that. Joshua Valier made his way around Anthony Hamilton up to 4th, so he's now up 11 spots after starting back in 15th. Our points leader, working his way to the front of this, looking to pick up his 3rd win of the season.
And here comes the lead, the path for the lead. Joshua Reese has had enough of being second position right now. He's going to go around Dan Park.
Yeah, Parks led all 28 laps of this race, so new leader there, Reese. Let's see, maybe that's maybe Park kind of let him by, like you were talking about earlier, maybe trying to save a little fuel, kind of swap the lead here a little bit. Kind of ride around, but the 3rd and 4th place truck are coming in a hurry.
If your calculations are right, which, having done this in the real world, being in a race car, well, I'll say this, dirt, it doesn't really matter because the races are so short. You just fill the tank up and go.
Yeah, look back to Valier now, making his way around underneath Hamilton there for that 3rd spot. That was a power move right there. He just looked to the inside, just drove right past him. So Valier looking really strong here. I'm not sure what happened to him in qualifying earlier, but he is coming to the front and coming in a hurry. That Reese and Park are going to have their hands full with that 7 truck in about another 4 or 5 laps.
Here's that pass for 3rd position. Value is going to go low on another way, right?
Yeah, Hamilton just didn't have anything to fight with him right there. His gun was empty, and Valier just ran right past him. Hamilton just didn't have any choice but just to watch him go. Just got out of the way. And it is early here too. There's no reason to do anything crazy. We're only less than 30 laps into the race right now. We're 31 laps into the race. Sometimes it's just better to live to fight another day.
Well, we got our first truck down pit road. It's Jeremiah Stutson. He's coming to his pit stall.
So my 40 lap guess may be way off again.
I don't know. I think he might be going off cycle. But Joshua Reese back at the ranch. Here we go. Joshua Reese has just driven off to a 1.12 second lead over Dan Park. And I gotta tell you this, Chris. Joshua Ballier is coming later.
Yeah, again, just drives right past Park for that second spot. And he has his sights on the lead. Dan Reese right now. He's only about, what? A little over a second behind. So Reese actually put a little separation there on Park. So Park's struggling there. Once Reese got past him for the lead, he kind of drove off. So I'm not so sure, I'm not so sure if Ballet is just getting that much faster. Some of these other guys are just tires going away, and they're just losing their grip and kind of falling back to him.
Absolutely. And what we're going to do right now is we're going to take a moment, pace and bills here on Sim Racing Media. We're going to go side by side and do the same thing right now. lap 42 and the caution comes out, and I believe it's going to be for Forrest Hamilton Jr. Let's see what happened to Mr. Hamilton. Let's get to the chopper. Going on the pit road. Oh. That's too much damage. I would call that a kiss.
And the caution may have even come out before that. I'm not quite sure, but Forrest Hamilton had run up in the top 3 most of the race so far, and he had fallen way back about 15 spot before the pit stop started. So he looked to be struggling.
Well, this right here is a welcomed break for a lot of these drivers. We're going to come down pit road and get these services done. Joshua Valier right now being scored as the leader.
Yeah, unfortunately, some poor timing there for our leader, Joshua Reese. He came down on the pit road just a lap before that caution came out. Most of the other trucks are going to have the luxury of coming in under the caution, so we'll see how far Reese can move back up through the field here. But he pitted right before that caution came out on lap 41, which handed the lead over to our point leader, Joshua Ballier. And it looks like Ballier may come out of the pits here with the lead. So really bad luck there from Reese. He's going to be down there in about 16th or 17th spot now.
As they come up pit road, let's take a look at that passenger lead here with Joshua Valier and Joshua Reese. The battle of the Joshua. He comes down. Valier catching Joshua Reese. And I believe Joshua Reese will win on the pit road.
Josh Reese actually did a pretty good job. Ballier got us watching the split times there while we were at commercial break, and Ballier had got cleared of the third place truck or the second place truck there and moved up. But he was Reese was actually putting a little separation on him. So Ballier, as fast as he was looking at that point, Reese still looked to be a little bit quicker. So we could have a really good race up here towards the end. You know, unfortunately, Reese now back there in 17th after the untimely pit stop with the caution coming out. So we'll see if he can work his way back up through the field, because he was definitely one of the top 2 fastest trucks on the racetrack.
Right now we're getting all those wave around trucks by as Joshua Valier and Ben Park will be on the front row as we come back to the green flag here. On lap number 45. We're almost there.
Yeah, Ballier up 14 spots, started back in 15th. Park up 17, started way back in 19th. So, and you go back to the third place truck of Ben Morrow, he's up 10 spots. So all 3 of our top 3 right now have came up from about the middle of the pack on back. So let's see if they can stay up here. That 12 truck of St. Cure. It's also looked pretty sharp all night long, so we'll see what he can do here now that he's up in the top 4.
Well, the lights are out on that iRacing.com pace truck as we get ready to head to the Geico restart zone. That truck is going to peel off pit road, giving the field to Ballier and Park through the Geico restart zone, and we are back on the button, back to green flag racing. Here on lap number 45.
Just new rubber on these trucks. Let's see what Ballier can do. If Park can hang on to the back bumper there. Ballier has looked awful strong here. Let's see if he can put some separation, or if Park can be able to hang on. Morrill now up to 3rd. Gordano now in fourth place here on that restart. And Park is tucked up right underneath that spoiler of Ballier right now. Let's see if he can hang on there. And as I say that, they come off a turn 4, and Ballier puts about 3 truck lengths on him in a hurry.
93 laps to go here. Las Vegas. And things are getting ready to get good.
Did you do that math in your head? That was pretty good.
I got nothing.
You got nothing? Oh, Well, I got Morrow now in that 57 looking underneath Park for second. He's going to get that bottom line and going to move up and see if he's got anything for Ballet here. See if Park can give him a little bit of a push here down the front straightaway through the trioval section.
Checking in other racing news tonight, you know, the Dirt Car Summer Nationals. I know you've been keeping up with that a lot lately on Dirt Vision, as well as the World of Outlaw Sprint Cars. But Granite City rained out after a pop-up shower dumped about an inch of water on the speedway.
Well, you think being in the Midwest this time of season with these big storms, they maybe carry a boat in the trailer. They could have some boat races when it rains out like that.
So here's the thing: the Summer Nationals roll into Granite City, Illinois. Skies are blue, and here comes the rain.
That's just the way it always is. The way it always is when you're getting ready to go racing. You know, for us, when we race on the weekends, it'd be beautiful and sunny all week long, and you wake up Saturday morning, it'd be pouring down rain. It's just, you know, it's just racing gods.
How many times have you ever woken up on a Saturday morning? You go, nope, we're not racing tonight.
Yep. And living in Oregon, you just never know. Sometimes you get it, and sometimes you don't. But
one driver definitely does have it here is Joshua Valiant, as he continues to lead this race here. And we got Max Service, our fast qualifier tonight. He got caught up in that Heat 1 wreck and finished deep in the field. Here's a 20 spots. Now, if this race were to end right now, he'd be the hard charger.
Yeah, I was just noticing that myself. Service making a charge. He made a nice move there on the outside. That's the first truck we've really seen make that much of a power move on the outside. But like you said, he is up 20 spots, up to fourth right now. And at the same time, Park looking for the lead there on Ballet down on the inside. And they're side by side going down the front straightaway.
88 laps to go, and we got a battle for the lead heating up here as Ben Park takes the lead from Joshua Valier just momentarily. Joshua Valier coming back on the outside.
Now, they've been side by side for about a lap and a half now, so we're going to see who's going to prevail. Park down on the bottom. Ballet is starting to fade just a little bit here as they come off of 3 and 4. Ballet's going to have to tuck, but he's going to do a crossover here. Try to tuck back up underneath, and here comes Morrow down on the flat, trying to get that second spot away from Ballet, and he's up alongside now. So Ballet now looking to lose 2 spots here in the last couple of laps if Morrow can make his way by.
Well, I can tell you right now, Max Service back there, once again our fast qualifier of the night, he is looking to pick a truck and use the draft, maybe get a 2-for-1 special here, as Valiant is going to work on Ben Park right now.
Yeah, Ballet back around Morrow for that second spot. Service looks really strong. I think he's just kind of, you know, he charged up here to the front. He's going to be a little bit patient here. But Morrow is not going to be patient. Morrow back down to the bottom with a big dive underneath Ballet there. He's going to tuck back up underneath that tailgate. We are starting lap. We're getting ready to start lap 55 here in about a half a lap.
It's going to be sooner than a half lap. They're coming off 4 right now as Ben Park is driven out to 10th of a second lead over Joshua Valier. And I tell you what, this top 3 you could probably bet is going to be all alone when they come to the end of this race.
Yeah, top 6 right now separated by less than a second. And I'm looking back a little further back to 10th spot of Joshua Reese, who fell back to 17th on that restart. He is working his way up through the field. He's passed 7 trucks since we've gone back to green, and he is charging up through the front right now. He's going to looking to get around that number 2 truck of Fox there for 9th. We'll keep an eye on Reese and see if he keeps that charge going to the front.
Yeah, absolutely. As we come back to the front of the field, things have quieted down just a little bit. See if we can find some action here. This is what lifetime scoring has seen the most exciting thing on the racetrack right now. And that's Max Service on 19 spot.
It looks like he kind of that run he had kind of stalled out. He's going to fall back here to 4th. It's the 12th truck of St. Cure behind him. Byers and Gordano all in this fight here for 4th, 5th, 6th, and 7th.
We approach lap number 6 here. Right now, the battle on the racetrack for me is going to be right around this number 94 truck of Matthew Byers. And he's looking low. There he goes, getting around 8 Bernardino. I believe he just had a hardware issue.
I guess that's our version of mechanical breakdowns.
Yes.
We have internet issues. We have hardware failures. Back. All right, I'm going to age myself a little bit here, but like I like to do. But when I first started racing online, was with what they call the Total Entertainment Network, or it was called 10, and I actually raced online with a dial-up modem.
You were Dale Jr. You were being like Dale Jr. before.
I actually raced with Dale Jr. back in like the late 90s online at one point. I hate to admit it, but I actually took him out one night at a race at Bristol. But the story is with a dial-up modem is when you got online and racing, you had to tell everybody in the house, do not pick up the phone. Do not answer the phone. You had one phone line, dial-up modem, and if somebody picked up the phone, then it just kicked you right out of the race.
Even would be racing for the lead. I bet you probably race for the win. The riders are coming off turn 4, getting ready to cross the checker. Boom. Someone picked up the phone.
Back in those days, I was probably lucky if I was racing for 10th. But
meanwhile, back at the ranch, as we're watching Ben Park just almost drive away. Ben Park's gotta have a second over Joshua Valier. And I tell you, nothing's more frustrating than being on a dial-up internet connection and someone picking up the landline. Oh, it drives me bonkers.
yeah, the top 3 kind of separated themselves here. They put a second back to that 4th place truck to service. So it looks like we keep staying green. We've had a nice long green run. And we had that early caution and then another caution there about lap number 42. And I think we're going to have another long run here unless somebody makes a mistake somewhere. It seems like our cautions are always, centered around either the start of the race or, when we have segments, the caution when we come, the green flag when we come back from the segment, or the pit stops. You get a mistake of somebody trying to get into the pit like we saw. But for the most part, these guys have been racing really clean on the track when the track has been green. So it's just been really fun to watch. Watch Park come up through. Watch Ballet coming all the way from the back here. I see qualified so poorly, but I think the last, what do we got here, about 77, 78 laps to go are going to be pretty exciting.
Yeah, absolutely. Working lap 63 right now. Ben Park continues to lead over Josh Valier. Back a little deeper in the field, we're going to get Joshua reaching airtime. He is in a whole gaggle of race trucks right now.
And Joshua Reese still back there in 10th. He was charging up through, and as I say that, he moves up to 9th. He'd led 13 laps earlier. He's got Daniel Park right there in front of him. Park's our lap leader right now with 27. So let's see if this 9th, see if they can team up together here, get back up into the fight for the win in this race.
Right now, your driver has gone in the wrong direction right now. There's Jeremiah Stetson, but Anthony Hamilton is 13 spots in the wrong direction.
I have to admit, we're 65 laps into this race, and I just realized there was 2 parks. It's only right in front of me on the scoreboard. But it's Benjamin Park in the lead, Daniel Park back there in 8th right now. I really got to prep more.
I got nothing. You get a pass for tonight because you essentially threw down your stuff coming in from work, kicked off your shoes, and got on a PC.
I need to move off the West Coast. You know, most of all these leagues are East Coast, so they're, you know, I know it's 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock for the East Coast, or 9 o'clock on the East Coast, but it's still early for us out here. So
I imagine it's like 6 o'clock.
and you would be correct. Good, you're so good with math, there, Alan. Oh, we got the parks. Daniel Park sideways there. Nice save. Got that truck sideways coming off at 2. He was able to collect. I didn't see if he just kind of got sideways on his own or he got a little help.
Let's go back and check that out. Let's see if this can offer something perspective. Here we go.
He gets down the. Oh, gets a. It just kind of lost it right there. I don't. Nice job of Devin Smith there in the 95 to avoid running all over the back of him.
Let's spec this up just about right. There.
Oh, looks like you got a little help there. Is that the 65 of Lingerfeld? Yeah, Lingerfeld got into the back of him there, right in that left for a quarter, got him sideways. That's a nice save. You know, I think Lingerfeld, nothing intentional, they just made a little mistake, got in a little hard, got in the back of him, and fortunately he had the wherewithal to back off and let Park get that truck straightened out.
We come back out to the live shot. We got 31 laps until we hit the century mark, and then we got 40 laps after that. But right now, Ben Park is doing. Ben Park stands up here at the front. Meanwhile, back here about mid-pack at 11th and 12th, or 10th, 11th, 12th spot. Josh Fox continuing to, march forward. Is right where he started.
I was just gonna say the same thing. He's really, I think he likes that 10th position. He started there. He's sitting there in 10th. Just really comfortable right there. But he's got Joshua Reese right there in front of him. Joshua starting to make his way, or Josh. I don't know, Joshua or Josh. I don't know. You can tell me which one, but correct later. But done a nice job after getting caught out with that pit stop earlier. Worked his way back up to ninth, back into the top 10, and charging to the front.
Unfortunately, we have we have the winner to the race of the beer. It's a race you don't want to win, but hey, someone's got to win it.
Is that Ben Henry?
That's Ben Henry. Ben Henry has won the race of the beer. Not because he wanted to.
Ben, if you're out there, man, I'm getting kind of thirsty. You mind grabbing me a nice cold one and a hot dog, please?
Don't forget to put the mustard, ketchup, and relish on it.
You forgot the onions.
Well, yeah. So.
Hey, by the way, as we're goofing around, did you happen to notice that Ballet moved back out to the point?
I did. We're getting ready to check that out right now for all the folks at home to see. We're searching the mid-back for some great battles. Here's that pass for the lead.
And Ballet just going to jump up there to the outside. He's going to use that banking to his advantage and get a good run through the center right there and off the corner. And he's just going to be able to clear Park as it comes down the back straightaway there. Take that top spot back. He led 14 laps earlier. Let's see. I'm assuming they give bonus points for most laps led. So let's see if he can stay up there and pad his point lead.
74 laps here. Wow. This one I thought my math was mathing. It goes haywire. But nonetheless, we got a 3-truck breakaway right now with Valier, Park, and Morrow.
Yeah, Morrow's right there. He's worked his way on the back of Park. I think, Park was kind of dominant when he got to the front. But he may be fading here as we're about, when did he pit? Back on lap 43, so he's got 32 laps on his tires. So he may be struggling here a little bit as these tires are wearing out. You know, Ballet was able to kind of hang back there in second and save his stuff. So as you can see, he's already put a half a second on Park there in second.
I mean, the Ballet is just so smooth. As we got drivers coming down pit road. Adam Gardner starting his Outlaw.
Yeah, we went about 41 laps earlier when the pit stop started. We had that caution, and everybody came down about lap 43. So my earlier guess in the night that we were going to be between lap 40 and 45 looks to maybe holding true. So we should be about 6 to 7 laps away from a lot of these trucks starting to dive down in for another green flag stop.
I think they can do it on 3 stops.
Yeah, I would have to agree with you. I was silent there for a moment because I was trying to do the math in my head. I didn't have your wizardry, so. But I think you are accurate, my friend.
It's called an iPhone.
Well, I've got all kinds of digital help around me, and I still wasn't able to deduce it that quickly.
Right now, Max Service continues to run fourth.
Oh, and as he gets a little sideways there, did he catch the wall down the straightaway? Just a little bit and shot down to the bottom of the racetrack.
You know, as you say that, let's take a look at the weather real quick. One more time. That track temperature, we started out in this race at 111 degree track temperature. And now we're down to 99. And the humidity has gone down because, well, we're in the desert and humidity really doesn't matter. It's a dry heat.
It's a dry heat.
Look, you wouldn't know what to do in the Midwest if the humidity smacked you in the face.
I spent enough time in the Midwest and the South in the summer to know what you mean there, brother. Yeah, the little bit cooler temperature. Track's going to tighten up a little bit. You can see some shade falling over some of the corners here. The truck's going to tighten up just a little bit. But we are on some old tires, so they've got their hands full just with that. But we should see the speed start to pick up a little bit. You know, probably not a lot from 110 to 99 degrees, but you know, these engines like the temperatures a little bit cooler.
Yes, they do.
But we are at a little bit higher altitude in Vegas. It's a little bit higher altitude than people realize it is. So, you know, the trucks will start. You know, the carburetor's going to start for a little bit of air as well. So I'm kind of surprised we haven't seen any tossed engines yet. Not trying to wish any bad luck on anybody though.
You don't want to do that. Definitely don't want to wish anybody any bad luck.
We got Ben Henry in chat saying his screen went black. So I guess we're just going to call that a simulated blown motor for poor Ben Henry as he made it to the beer stand. So
still didn't get you in a cold one.
That's right. I'll let him owe me. He's right now he's looking at his wounds, unhappy. He didn't get to finish this race. I understand exactly where he's coming from.
Right now, here's your battle for first. Joshua Valier up 17 or 14 spots. That's your paddle box right now.
Yeah, and he's putting some separation on Park. He's almost got a full second on him right now. So Ballet definitely been the most consistent. Came from way out in the back of this field. And I mean, I don't really see. We've had a couple trucks kind of challenge him there. Park put him back in a second for a while and held that lead. But Ballet seems to be the most consistent all the way through the run, especially here right towards the end of these long runs.
I don't think that lap traffic will be a factor, except for on pit stops. I think they're going to come down here at 100 and then they'll make that 40-lap run to the end.
Yeah, here we are on lap 83 coming to 84, and we got more trucks coming to the pits. Ballet now diving down into the pits. So our leader coming in, Ben Park, our second place truck, also down to the pits. That's going to give the lead to Morrow.
Byers got caught up in an earlier incident on lap number 1. He has battled his way back to that second position. We're underway with green flag pit stops. What we're gonna do is we're gonna go ahead while they're going, taking their pit stops. We're gonna take another pit stops. We're gonna go side by side. You want to stay here and send me some video. Here we are getting ready to come back to green flag with 51 laps to go. As Joshua Valier and Ben Park on the front row, that iRacing.com pace car gets ready. Well, the lights are on, so we're going to take a look at an incident that happened while we're at break. Let's go to the chopper. There we go. This is Jonathan Byers, the reason for the caution light to come out. Oh!
Yeah, it looked to me like maybe Byers was going to come down into the pits. Kind of got woed up in the middle of the racetrack, and unfortunately Joshua Reese collected in that.
That one hurts.
Yeah, Joshua Reese, one of our early favorites, caught up in that. He is still in the pits for repairs.
I think a hit like that would effectively end your night.
You would think so if they don't have a quick repair.
Nonetheless,
So that,
like I said, the light should be going out this time not.
yeah, so that's going to put Ballet back up in the front, side by side with Park. There's going to be a little bit of excitement there. We'd started green flag pit stops before we went to break. Caution came out, so it feels kind of shuffled around here a little bit, but the top three are still going to be Ballet, Park, and Morrow.
No one really went to that, what I call the Kyle Larson line, and has ventured up there into the marbles, if you will. As the lights should be going out this time by the field lined up 2 by 2 behind that iRacing.com base car.
Yeah, we've seen a couple trucks kind of venture up there, but I don't think they really planned to go up there. They were kind of forced to, and it didn't really work out well for them. The track's going to be really dirty up there. If nobody's been up there trying to dust it off, it's going to be tough to find some grip up there against the fence.
Nonetheless, as we come through turns number 1 and 2, it's going to be Valier, Park, Giordano, and Ben Morrow. That's your top 4.
That Byers in that 94 truck up to the 5th spot. And our our fast timer of the night, not pole sitter, but our fast time in qualifying, Max Service, still holding on to that 6th place. And he's got some fresh tires on now, so let's see what he can do here on this restart.
We're going to go on board with Max Service for this restart as the iRacing.com base car brings the field in turn number 3 with 48 laps left to go. Is it 48?
My screen says 49, but you know, since we're starting lap 92.
49 laps.
I got a couple different pieces of software, so they all tell me different things.
On board up to the gearbox, Max Service on the outside row in 6th position.
And that is a great view of the back bumper of Giordano in that number 21 truck. Service looking for a place, looking for a hole. He got a really great start, but just didn't have anywhere to go. He trucked side by side right in front of him.
So we bring it out to the wide shot here. Joshua Valier already out to
Yeah, Park started outside there, outside that front row on that restart in 2nd. He kind of fell back to 4th there for a minute, or for a 2nd anyway. Minute's kind of exaggeration, but he's fighting his way back now, back up into 3rd as Morrow's cleaning that 2nd place. And there goes Morrow taking a look to the inside of Ballier as they head into turn number 3, coming off of 4. It looks like Morrow's going to get to the point here. Led a couple of laps earlier, looking to lead his 3rd lap of the race here, down on that flat section, but here comes Ballier back up on the outside with a little bit of help from a little push behind from Park.
And these two are swapping leads like kids swapping the chicken pox at the chicken pox party.
I think you lost all of our young viewers on the chickenpox party.
They never had a chicken pox party?
I don't think they do chickenpox parties anymore.
I think I just showed both of our reviews. Look, kids, whenever you had chicken pox back in the day, your parents didn't take you around other kids that had chicken pox. So that way you'd get them, and then you wouldn't have to worry about them anymore.
Turned out to be not as great of a plan as they thought it was at the time.
Could you imagine if COVID come out? We would have COVID-19 parties. Meanwhile, watching this party here, Joshua Valley getting ready to cross Ben Morrow over. Coming into turn number 1 and 2.
Good fight back and forth here, Ballet and Morrow. Good clean race, and Ballet trying to get up and do a little side draft on him down that back straightaway to see if he can get a run into 3, and that looks like it's going to work. He's going to gap him just a little bit, get into 3, but Morrow with a good run off the top. Let's see if he can get something off of 4 down here into the tri-oval. As he kind of had a little help from Park there, pushing him a little bit. So Park now looking in the middle. He's looking to make it 3 wide.
Yeah, this is enter in the number 94 truck of Matthew Byers.
Byers, I'm so sorry. Gordano. And I see that name of Combs. I don't think we've called his name all day long up to 6 in the number 28.
Look, we went on board at the start of this race with Adam Gardner.
Now we got a caution out here.
Where's Hamilton?
Like Forrest Hamilton and Morgan Sterling. Hamilton was up at the front of this early, and he's up on the outside. You know, Sterling they just kind of met there in the middle. I think Sterling thought he might have had him cleared. I have to take another look at that one. I couldn't tell if Hamilton came down a little bit and Sterling came up at the same time. I couldn't tell from that view.
Let's do this. Let's go.
It looks like Hamilton kind of holding his line there up close to the wall. And Sterling might have thought he had him cleared. Yeah, just kind of a racing deal there. I think he thought he had space.
That is one bent beer can. .41 laps to go here as we did some quick math here. Without a calculator this time. I think this is your final pit stop of the night.
I went back and looked at it one more time there, and I just, I don't think, actually, that was at the Bushlight Apple teammate cars trucks there.
Yes.
A team meeting after this one for sure, but 101 laps into this is going to be the last. They're going to be able to make it. So like we said earlier, they could go 3, or you said earlier, and I agreed with, they could go on 3 stops, and 101 laps here. Only about going to have less than 40 to go when we go back to green, so they should be able to make it to the end.
As we were watching these guys come up pit road, Jeremiah Stutson stayed out. Either that or, Jonathan Byer may not be able to go down pit road until the second time here, being laps down.
And it looks like Morrow got out of the pits in front of Ballier here. So once Stutzman dives down into the pits here, or maybe he's going to try to stay out and catch a caution late, I'm not sure, but he pitted back on lap 87, so he definitely is not going to make it to the end unless he's carrying an extra fuel tank in the back of that truck somewhere.
I was going to say, unless he knows something we don't know, well, the math is not going to work out for Jeremiah.
Are you saying the math just ain't mathing? Is that what you're saying?
I don't think his math is mathing, and I don't believe we're doing St. Louis math here. It's Houston parts unknown. I could be wrong. Look, I'm not a mathematician by any ways, by any means of the imagination. Sometimes I even ride on a delusional canoe with Santa Claus and the Easter Bunny, but that's a different story for a different day.
Did Tooth Fairy come along?
The Tooth Fairy in my world is not there at this time. I mean, she could be. I don't know.
Well, if you're from St. Louis, I can understand.
Man.
You know, I don't think Stutzman's going to come in there under this caution. I think he's going to stay out there on the point. Maybe waiting for a late race caution. You know.
We've only had 4 cautions for causes tonight. So I mean, they're not doing horrible. As we've been racing for a little over an hour right now. 38 laps to go. As the field comes down to the Geico restart zone. Barney's got the green flag in hand.
Stutzman going to bring him down to the line with about 38 laps left to go once they cross the stripe. And Stutzman and Morrow Bally back there in third, Park in fourth.
Well, this is not going to be good.
It's not going to be good?
Well, when you're Jeremiah and Stutzman, you stayed out since lap 87, everybody's tired. You're sitting duck.
Well, he got a good jump right there. He's going to get away cleanly. His Ballet is going to move back up into the second with Morrow back there in third, Park in fourth. He's, you can see he doesn't have a lot of drive off the corner. Ballet just runs all over the back of him. He's going to get right up alongside him down the back straightaway.
I know this because I've been that guy, and I've gotten the angry text messages from Dave Regan.
I don't believe you that Dave Regal sends angry text messages.
So he does when he's calling the race at your end, and you stay out to lead that all important one lap, and you get a text message from Dave Regal. And now.
Well, Sussman's doing a good job. He's still up there in fourth right now, but he's about to get run over here. The 94 going by him, a Byers. Here comes Park in the 18. He is going to get freight trained here in the next few laps. Stutzman's going to have to jump in to get some tires.
Well, just as you say that, Brandon comes back here in this third spot, has run the fastest lap of the race with a 30.67.
Where in the hell did Brandon Combs come from? We talked about him just a little bit before that caution, but he is running his way up to the front here. Started back in 21st, up 18 places up to third. And like you said, he just hit the fastest lap of the race, so Brandon Combs is going to get up here and try to give Bally and Morrow all the fight they can handle here.
What is it, everybody for joining us here in the YouTube.com live chat? Make sure you hit the like, subscribe, and answer the bell. Well, you guys have commented on those drivers that you'd like to see here. Ben Henry, the screen, that's so unfortunate when the screen goes black.
You just got to drive through it sometimes, I'm just saying,
You're not wrong.
It'll come back. It'll come back. You have to have faith. I'm actually talking with my hands like you can see me right now. I don't know why.
I literally do not know what to do with my hands sometimes.
Well, Ballet is still here at the point of this race, and I don't. Morrow's hanging on there, but Ballet has definitely been the stronger truck, especially when we get towards the end of the long runs here. So if this stays green all the way to lap 140, I think we're going to see Ballet put a little distance between himself and his second place truck. But Morrow is going to look underneath there, tries to take a late lunge. Ballet shuts the door on him. Morrow's got to settle back into second.
And here comes Brandon Morrow, just right there waiting to pounce. When do you pounce? So now, you got Brandon Combs who ran 30.76. He is all over your tailgate. You got to do something quick.
Well, if you've been paying attention, like we just said, Bally, it looked really good on the long runs. Maybe you can sit back there in the second or third, kind of save your tires and take it to him later on. Make him use up his stuff out in front. But Morrow's like, yeah, no, patience is out the window. I'm going to look to the inside down here on the flat through the tri-oval. And he's going to have a run going down into 1. Let's see if Bally can fight back up here on the outside as they come off of turn number 2. Bally going to hold the lead. But Morrow right there, he's trying to find a hole, trying to find a way around, trying to find a new groove. But he's going to settle back into second once again.
Settling back into second as we come off turn number 2, or turn number 3 and 4 rather. We have 30 laps left to go here from Las Vegas. And right, it's been all Joshua Valier for the last a handful of laps and maybe more.
Yeah, Bally's at 39 laps of this race. You got to cheat like I do. I have a track map up on another screen so I can know what corner they're in.
You mean something like that?
Something like that. Yeah, I just got it up on a whole other screen. But yeah, Bally is at 39 laps of this race, and he is looking to continue to lead us. He put a little bit more separation on Morrow, about 0.2 of a second now, which equals out to about 3 or 4 truck lanes. Trying to look through the field here. Where is Max Service at? He's kind of falling back to 9th. You know, Joshua Reese looks to be out of this race now.
So Jeremiah Stutzman finally comes down pit road. He's had enough. He's going to get some Dr. Feelgood and a fresh tank of Go Fast.
Yeah, I feel for Joshua Reese. He was really strong earlier on in this race. Just got caught out with that pit stop back on lap 41 to 42 and then got caught up in somebody else's mess. It looks like he is still down on pit road, maybe out of this one. Back in 23rd right now.
Well, Brandon Morrow is no longer content with riding behind Joshua Valier in at number 7. Here comes the 57 truck. Thought about making the move forward.
Yeah, from what I can tell, I don't think Morrow's been happy with sitting there in second at all since we went back to green flag. He's looking everywhere, trying to find a way around Ballet to get to the point.
Just a handful of laps left to go. I wouldn't say a handful. 5 left.
Couple handfuls. Couple handfuls. And maybe some toes as well.
Yeah.
And maybe your friend's toes right next to you as well. 26 to go.
Where would I be with that?
That's a really good question. What did you do last night without me? All by yourself? All by your lonesome?
Look, I'm waiting to find me broadcast on Tuesday night so I can, do like the white smoke comes out of the chimney. And
they're gonna elect you as Pope?
not anytime soon.
It's like we've settled into kind of single file race in here. 25 to go. Everybody's being a little, well, I say that and I look up, there's a couple trucks side by side back there towards the middle. Here comes the 94 Buyers up underneath the 2 of Fox for that 5th spot. Fox is going to hold on to it, or did he just take it? I didn't look up soon enough. Fox looking good in that number 2. Started in 10th, up to 5th. Looking pretty strong here. Let's see if he can make a charge to the back here. As he gets around Byers pretty easily.
Right now, we got 24 laps to go, and we have reached kind of a lull in the action here. Looking around the MLB scores, the Cardinals right now are getting humbled by the Chicago Cubs, 8-0. Meanwhile, in the bottom of the 5th, Dave Regal's beloved Phillies are gaining in a 1-0 game against the Houston Astros.
Oh, now we know why Dave's not here tonight. There's a Phillies game on.
Well, yeah, in out your way, in the Mariners visit the Twins. In the bottom of the 7th, they are down 1-0 in that ball game.
I just want to know how the Savannah Bananas are doing.
with 22 laps to go, Joshua Ballier. That is an awesome show. If you never got to watch it, they sold out St. Louis in a matter of minutes.
It's such a great story. I love to see the success they're having, just bringing that whole new sport, basically. Well, not a whole new sport, but just a modification of baseball, and just having so much success with it. It's just really cool to watch.
I showed it to my wife. She goes, "What is this?" I said, "It's banana ball." She goes, "What's banana ball?" It's just like the Harlem Globetrotters of baseball.
That's about the best way to describe it. It is definitely fun.
21 laps to go, and Joshua Valley driving away from this one with a 0.2 of a second lead over Brandon Morrow. Now, or Ben Morrow. Brandon Combs not content with riding in the third position too. 20 laps to go. If Ben Morrow and Brandon Combs are going to make a move, they got to make it now because the Sands of the Hourglass is starting to run out.
Yeah, Brandon Combs made a nice move around Park to move up in that third position. He's been looking really good since that last pit stop, that last caution. Up now 18 places, up to third. I think we're going to have a fight in our hands when this is over with. It's going to come down to Ballier, Morrow, or Combs. And the way Combs is looking right now, he is going to run up on the back of Morrow here within about the next 3 or 4 laps and give him a handful for that second position.
19 laps to go. Everybody's single filed out. Anthony Hamilton on pit road to get his pit services. A little bit deeper in the field here. We got action. Matthew Byers from 12th spot.
The 2 truck of Joshua Fox still looking to make another move up around Giordano for that 6th place. I'm looking back to that 8th position now too with Max Service. Really thought he was going to come charging through this field. He looked really good on that last little short run before the pit stops. But it looks like he's kind of stalled out now, sitting about 8th right here behind Fox and Giordano.
17 laps left to go here. We're still single filed out. Anthony Hamilton still on pit road. Jeremiah Stutson 1 lap down. So if the caution were to come out, Stutson would be left.
Yeah, this late in the race, even if he does get a caution and get back to the front, it's going to be hard to get through this field. We covered a lot of super speedways over the last couple of weeks, and we've seen it. But on a track like here at Vegas, you're just it's going to be tough to charge through the field at this point with only about 15, 16 laps left to go.
16 laps to go. Here it is. Joshua Ballier doing Joshua Ballier kind of thing. As Brandon comes under fire from Ben Park. Ben Park to the outside, and they're going to come off of turn number 3 and 4. Oh, that was close.
That was close. I thought Combs was going to make a charge and make a run at Morrow here for that second position, but it looks like he may have used up his stuff charging up through the field because he has now got his hands full with Ben Park for that 3rd spot. And we're going to fight here for the last podium position here. And Byers just made a nice run up on the back of these two as well. Looking to throw his hat into the ring here, see if he can get up into the podium positions up into 3rd.
Yeah. Matthew Byers, looking for that possible 2-for-1 special from Las Vegas.
Looks like Combs is up there trying. I don't know if the truck's just getting tight on him and is pushing him up the racetrack there, or if he's actually trying that groove we were talking about earlier. He actually got a pretty good run off the corner there. It made up a little bit of ground on Morrow. And you can see Combs moving up the racetrack and trying that top line. And he's able to get away from Park, but about a two truck advantage on him, and he's made up a little bit of ground there. So let's see what he can do in the last 13 laps.
13 laps to go. Brandon Combs has made his way to the high side. We'll just call Brandon the high side hustler.
Yeah, it's a tough line to run. Whenever you're running that top line, you're that close to the wall. It's dirty, it's dusty. Everybody's been throwing rubber up there all day long. You know, you got to kind of roll the truck into the corner, and that fence gets really, really close. But like they used to say, the closer you are to the wall, the less it hurts when you hit it.
I've heard that adage too. From Las Vegas.
He's making up a little bit of ground, maybe a tenth of a second or so on Morrow here the last lap or so. He's getting that top rolled in. You can see Morrow actually maybe move up a little bit as he sees where Combs is running.
He sees that Combs is coming.
He is now within about a truck lane, so let's see. Combs back up to that top line. We talked about that possibility of running up there earlier, and it's taken about 125, 128 laps before somebody finally tried it, but Combs is showing it.
On board with Brandon Combs.
He's going to have to get clear of Morrow here pretty quickly if he's going to have any chance to run down Ballier. So, but you can see him just how much momentum he gets off the corner down through that tri-oval, tucked right up underneath Morrow. So let's see where he goes. He goes back to the top. See if he can get enough momentum here as he comes off of turn number 2 down the back straight to see if he can get enough momentum to dive underneath the Morrow into 3. It looks like that's what he's going to try to do. Now he's going to stay with the top, kind of tuck in there, but Morrow stays up there to block it.
Brandon Combs is so good on the top side.
He's up alongside of Morrow now for second. Let's see what he does down here going into 1 and 2.
Ben Park to try to make it 3 wide.
Park kind of sees Combs having success with it, but Park, they're going back down to the bottom. So as they're fighting it out back here for second and third, Ballier able to get about a second away from this battle. You see Combs kind of dip down there, try to get a little side draft off of Park down the straightaway. They're going to jump back to the top here. Oh, they're going to make a little contact. It looks like Combs was going to try to take that bottom away from Park, and Park says, no, he's not having anything of it. You know, when you're following a guy like that for so many laps, you know, Combs was way up on the top, and Park just expected him to go back up there. So he stuck his nose down on the bottom, and Combs just about came across that right front fender and took them both out of the race there.
And we got a battle for second.
It looks like it might be getting a little bit of heated. They're kind of banging doors down the front chute. Or down the back straightaway. We come off of 4.
Ben Morrow just went from second to 4th.
And all this fighting zoom back here is just letting Ballier run away with us. So I think we're going to see, unless Ballier makes a mistake, he's going to get his 3rd win of the season. And there goes Combs kind of down into Park right there. A little more contact through the tri-oval.
Ben Park going to do a little bit of 3 landscaping. 6 laps to go.
I don't know if that was a bobble on Combs' part or a little bit of frustration between the two of them, but a little contact there is going to send Park back to 4th.
We have just 5 laps to go, 5 lanes. This time by for Joshua Ballier.
Yeah, Ballier's got this one in hand. Our fight right now is for the 2nd, 3rd, and 4th position. As I think Park is trying to get to the back bumper or Combs here. I think we're going to have a little bit of excitement here if he can get there. But right now it's Combs in 2nd. Park has made his way around Morrow. Oh, Morrow gets back around him now for 3rd.
Max service grabs the wall. Ben Park trying everything he can, throwing the kitchen. And Brandon Combs.
Yeah, he took that truck in hard into 3 right there. Just trying to get back up to that 2nd spot. You see Combs back up on top. Park making a run down on the bottom. And here comes Morrow back into the fight now for this 3rd spot.
Meanwhile, Joshua Ballier He's already 2.5 seconds ahead of this battle. We're going to stay with him.
We're getting close to be 3 wide for that second position as here comes Park and Morrow back up on the back bumper of Combs. I think Park's just got his sight set on that second position, but Morrow's kind of spoiled that party for him. As Morrow now looking up underneath the Combs here for that second place with about 2 to go as they come to the stripe.
Top 6 will stick in the air. Joshua Vallier's got to go around 2 more times. But here comes the pass for third. Ben Park on the inside. He's going to go looking low underneath Ben Morrow.
Morrow gets a little bit looser off of 2 down the back straightaway. I think it's going to let Park get it back up alongside of him there. Just not enough to clear him for that third position. Combs in second. Park now is going to make his way to third. Can he get up in front of Morrow and take that line away? He does. But here comes Morrow down on the flat as they take the white flag.
White flag, 1 lap to go for Joshua Vallier. He was 3 seconds out. This battle is starting to get good. They got, Ben Park's got 1 more chance. Morrow going to the extreme inside of the racetrack.
Yeah, Morrow kind of moved up, but Park was there. Here comes Park off of 4 coming for the trial for that second position. And it's going to be Combs crossing the line in second with Park right behind him. But Morrow did everything he could down the back straightaway to get around Park and made a little bit of contact that first forced Morrow down onto the inside.
That being said, here's your race winner, Joshua Vallier, in that Wounded Warrior Project number 7. As we have some late race extracurricular activities going down.
I can't say I'm 100% surprised by that. I think we had a little frustration there towards the end between the 28, the 18, and the 57. Tight racing there for second and third. But Combs did a good job coming all the way up from 21st. Ben Park up from 19th up to third.
Here's the coming to the checkered contact.
Actually, Park kind of came down off the wall a little bit there, made a little contact with Morrow. It looked like earlier I thought it was Morrow coming up the racetrack, but it looked more like Park coming off the fence.
I don't think Morrow was too happy with that.
No, I'd have to agree with you. And he kind of showed it there as they made their way around the back straightaway here off of 2. And at the same time, I think Park's going to show a little frustration to Combs. Morrow's going to come up here and say, well, I see you're frustrated with him, so I'm going to come pile in here. It's a dog pile down the back straightaway.
Nonetheless, Joshua Vallier going to burn it down. Let's see if we can get some drivers up here to the broadcast booth. As we are looking for Joshua Vallier. As he's up here, Brandon Combs.
I think the number 7 in the waiting room is Joshua.
Yep, that's Joshua Vallier. We're going to get him up here in the broadcast booth. And you get to talk to him.
Hey, Josh, welcome to the booth. Chris Murphy and Alan Bergen here with you. Is it Josh or Joshua?
Joshua.
All right, Joshua. Hey, man, a really good run there. You look like you struggled early in the night there in qualifying. Can you tell us what happened there?
No, early on, I was just kind of chilling. I kind of like burnt up my tires running through the field, so I wasn't really able to chase down Reese. But sadly for Reese, I feel bad for him. He got that yellow when he pit, so he ended up going to the back and then got involved in a wreck. So I really wasn't able to battle with him at all. But after that, I was able to just stay up front, manage the race, manage my tires. The set was pretty tight today, so you really had to focus on making sure you managed the tires.
Yeah, really early on, we really thought it was going to come down between you and Reese, and he just a poor timed pit stop on his part. But You looked really good on the long runs. Did you do anything? What did you do differently there that really gave you that advantage on the long runs?
Well, for here, since the setup was just so tight, you just really had to back up your pace. You had to be committed to just like, hey, you have to give up the first 10 to make sure you can go fast for the end. Because when you're like plowing to the extent you were in 3 and 4, you just really just have to give up the time.
Well, you looked really good out there. As my first race here with the Outlaw Series, Outlaw Sim Series. This is your third win on the season. Before we let you go, you got anybody you want to thank?
Just my team, well, people that I drive with, my friends, Benjamin Park, Max, and Jonathan Byer. You guys are
Excellent,
putting on
man.
the show, and the league owner Adam.
Yeah, congrats again, man. And hopefully we'll see you again next Wednesday night.
Thank you.
And that was the driver of the number 7 truck, as we're going to get him down to the waiting room. Up next, this driver needs no introduction. One spot shy of victory lane. Brandon, take us through that race and what more you could have needed out of the truck to possibly get around Joshua Ballier.
Clean air.
And about 10 more laps, right?
I mean, no. I mean, my stuff was already burned up anyway from being in dirty air. I mean, you're driving a snow plow in these things. I mean, aero-wise, they suck behind people, but product of racing in the trucks on 1.5 miles.
Nonetheless, a great battle between you, Ben, and Ben Morrow. Take us through that battle and what was your mindset as these guys were just racing extremely hard?
Yeah, just try to keep it clean, race hard and fair, and try not to smack the wall on exits when someone was on my inside, and just keeping the truck under me and just trying to maintain good momentum there on the top, because on the bottom there, I knew in dirty air you were just going to kill yourself. So I moved up to the top, which in hindsight, it's going to kill your right front probably even faster, but at least you got a little bit of clean air up there.
Well, look, man, before we get you out of here for tonight, who do you want to thank and who helped you get it done here on this number 28 car?
Yeah, just guys, thanks to Chip Bangers Racing, B&B Custom Baits, Zero FG, FHP Consultant, B&B Custom Baits, I think I already said them, Bluegrass Motorsports Media, Fueled by Bush Light, Copper Combs Fade Club, Kyle and Devin. I gotta say thanks to them guys for getting me in the league and being able to come run these snow plows, as I like to call them, and have a good time. And thanks to you guys for putting on the broadcast. And just like I said, I'm still keeping Adam in his thoughts with the bad news that happened a couple weeks ago, and can't imagine what he's been going through, and feeling for him.
Awesome. Well, congratulations on finishing P2. We'll see you on the next one.
Yep, y'all have a good one.
And last but certainly not least, we have Ben Park.
Yes, sir.
Hey Ben, Chris Murphy, how you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
Good run out there. You started back in 19th. Did you think you'd have a chance to get up towards the front after starting way back that far in the field?
Especially after the first lap with the checkups on the inside line. I got a little bit of front end damage, but it was a tough drive through the field. Everybody's pretty much even on speed.
Yeah, it got a little dicey there at the end between with you, Brandon, and Ben Morrow. You up there into second place. It looked like you tried to follow. You saw Brandon running that top line, tried to follow him up there, and you guys had a kind of a battle going back and forth.
Yep. Just good to go hard racing for P2. It's unfortunate I got stuck behind Stutzman on that restart. I think I had something for Balliet, but we'll never know.
Yeah, we were really surprised to see him stay out there with his old tires, but you made a good charge. I thought you were gonna, I agree with you there. I really looked like you were gonna give Ballet all he could handle, but you're gonna fight your way for second and third. But hey, before we let you out of here, you got anybody you want to thank?
Yeah, I got to thank my girlfriend watching here, my family watching at home, everybody. You guys are putting on a great show. You guys really do a good job. Appreciate you guys.
Appreciate it. Yeah, my first time here with you guys. You guys put on a heck of a good show from our vantage point. So hope to see you again next week and the week after. So thanks again.
Yeah, thank you guys.
Right, and that was the voice of Ben Morrow. Well, he's going to self-exit out of the broadcast booth, which makes my life a lot easier.
I was actually Ben Park. That was Ben Park.
Ben Park, okay. Look,
I know a lot of Bens gets confusing. I understand.
there's a lot of Bens. Nonetheless, before we get out of here, we got one more piece of business to take care of, and that's to go over those race results from tonight's feature. As we heard from your top three, Ben Morrow is going to bring home P4. Matthew Byers bringing home P5. 6 to go to max service. Aiden Giordano will finish 7th. 8th to go to Andrew St. Cour. Devin Smith will bring it home 9th. And rounding out your top 10 will be Kevin Thompson. Josh Fox will bring it home 11th. 12th to go to Matthew Setzer. Dan Park will finish 13th. 14th to go to Adam Gardner. Kyle Lingerfeld will finish 15th. Forrest Hamilton Jr. He'll bring home 16th. 17th to go to Doug Solms. Jeremiah Stutzman will bring it home in that 18th finishing position. 19th to go to Johnson Bayer. Merlin Duran will finish 20th. 21st will be Anthony Hamilton. Morgan Sterling will finish 22nd. Joshua Reese 23rd. And winning the race to the beer stand. It's a race you don't want to win, but someone's got to win it. And tonight it was Ben Henry. Any closing thoughts before we get out of here?
No, I really appreciate you joining me here, letting me join you tonight. Actually, Alan, it's a lot of fun. A lot of good racing here tonight. Joshua Ballet looked to be the strongest truck. Unfortunately, I think we were going to have a really good race between him and Joshua Reese. It was going to be the battles of the Joshuas, but Reese had some bad luck. But a lot of good racing here tonight. Expected these guys to put on a good show at Vegas, and they definitely did not disappoint. But once again, thanks for having us here tonight, Alan, and we look forward to next Wednesday night.
Well, on behalf of myself and Sim Racing Media and the owners of Outlaw Sim Series, and each and every day as you walk through the streets of life, please don't play in traffic. Good night, everybody.